Film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weirdo loner men who are despicable in many ways. Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these people?
Sure, why not? People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. What a terrible thing to do that is. I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice, he said, his voice cracking as he's asked about being the king of all incels. That's right. That is exactly what you just witnessed. This is Jordan Peterson on Piers Morgan's show Uncensored. And somehow looking like a bigger crybaby than Piers Morgan ever has. And you gotta hand it to Piers for openly asking him, do you bear any resemblance to this character who's like a leader of incels or kind of a violent, angry, misogynist dudes who are mad at women because they won't sleep with them and they're involuntarily celibate? And he's like, yes, I am. Obviously, Jordan Peterson, the all meat diet intellectual guru, thought leader, I don't even know. Let's watch a little bit more of what he went on to say.
It's making you emotional. Talk about that.
Well, God, it's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category. And you get these casual insults, these incels. What does it mean? It's like, well, these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky, and good for them. Women, be picky. That's your gift, man. Demand high standards from your men, fair enough. But all these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
Maybe stop acting like an incredible turd online all the time by trolling swimsuit models and calling them fat. How about starting with that? Anyway, Cenk, I didn't hear the laughter. You guys couldn't hear me just dying.
Yeah.
But I could watch that and sleep soundly every night.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. So, all right, look, guys, here's the situation. Again, it's a little bit of sleight of hand because a lot of people that like him will look at that and go, look at that. You see that? These so-called progressives, but they have no sympathy for these young men that aren't doing that well. No. Hold on. Let's separate out things, okay? So, is incel a reference to everyone who's involuntarily celibate? No, of course not. We were all involuntarily celibate. Okay, I spent a lot of my youth being involuntarily celibate, okay? But that didn't make me want to attack women, kill women, deride women online, on and on and on, which is what unfortunately some percentage of them do. Those are the ones that are called incels. Everyone else is just called a dude. Okay,
right. You didn't join a radical movement to fan your insecurities about women, Cenk?
No, I didn't. And so that just makes me a regular American. And so, and by the way, do I have sympathy for guys who are involuntarily celibate but not randomly attacking women? Of course, I've been there, right? And so he's making it seem like that the left is saying that those guys are on top of the world. But no, I know you're not on top of the world. I know there's tons and tons of guys in America and all across the world who don't have a date, they feel lonely, they're not rich, and they feel like they're marginalized. So if you want to reach out to those people in a healthy, productive way, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to reach out to them and say, now let's all hate women together, no, that doesn't help at all. And then second of all, the word marginalized is misused there, right? You could be poor and lonely and depressed, etc. And my heart goes out to you, and that happens a lot, right? But that doesn't mean you're politically marginalized. you have every political right if you're in the, for example, if you're a straight white male living in Nebraska, you might not be rich, you might not have a yacht or a mansion, you might not have any privileges that the rich have, but you have some privileges you're not even aware of, because nobody's going to try to prevent you from voting. They might not arrest you for smoking marijuana when they arrest the other guy across town for smoking marijuana, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't mean you're politically marginalized. He's conflating those things to try to create sympathy for the noxious philosophy that has, which is not about uplifting those guys. It's about putting women down, as we're about to show you.
Absolutely, and like the left and liberals generally aren't the side that are policing manhood all the time. That you have to wear this, do this, say this, eat an all meat diet to be a man. That like you need to buy these pills because you're manhood and you need to like we're not selling you different fake versions of manhood. The cop is in on the right when it comes to like what they think masculinity should and shouldn't be. Women aren't doing that to you. People who don't want to date you aren't doing that. We just want you to figure out your hair and stop wearing socks with sandals. You know what I'm saying? And like we're not the left isn't the ones who freaked out when Harry Styles wore a dress. Remember that? No. That was fine. It does nothing to do with his sexuality. He can wear whatever the hell he wants. But as Cenk alluded to, like there is a correlation between incel culture, which is laced in misogyny, being sort of angrily and proudly celibate because so-called no one will date you, and mass shooters. This is from 2019. It's just a graphic of that Mother Jones put together, analyzing 22 mass shootings. 86% had a history of domestic abuse in terms of mass shooters. 32% had a history of stalking and harassment, and 50% of those specifically targeted women. And I just wanted to remind y'all of the 2014 mass shooter Elliot Rodger, who stabbed 3 people to death in his apartment, shot 2 women to death outside of a sorority house, killed another man inside a deli with gunfire before killing himself. And this was in University of California, Santa Barbara. He wrote all the time about how he can't find love, that this is his only option, and that let's go to graphic 4. I was desperate to have the life I know I deserve, a life of being wanted by attractive girls, a life of sex and love. Other men are able to have such a life, so why not me? I deserve it. I am magnificent no matter how much the world treated me otherwise. I'm destined for great things. There's nothing inherently wrong with that statement. Yes, every one of us is entitled to love. Every one of us is entitled to, to finding somebody. We deserve that. I want to believe that too. But what it gets dangerous is when someone tells you that it's the person who politely turned you down for a date's fault, that it is the fault of an entire gender, that you have not yet being the operative word, been able to find somebody. Like, that is when it becomes radicalized and scary. And then you see here, and then there's many other people. I won't get into all of them, but there's a lot of incels who've carried out literal attacks on people.
Yeah, and look, Jordan Peterson is the guy who came up with a brilliant idea of forced monogamy. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? So that's saying, and he talks about this, like there's some alpha males that are too good at getting women, and they get a lot of the women, and that doesn't leave enough women for the rest of the guys. So we should force the women to kind of spread themselves out and pick these other guys who are, in their minds, I suppose he thinks, less desirable. No, that's nuts. We're not gonna force women into relationships. We're not gonna force monogamy on anyone. We're also not going to take women away from attractive men and go, you've met your quota. I mean, I thought they were against quotas. So that's why when you see him crying, like if you don't know anything about Jordan Peterson, and he seems like, oh my God, he's saying, I'm just looking out for the beat down, marginalized men, you might accidentally have some sympathy for him. No, and this crying thing he does, I mean, look, I don't think it's a gag. Although he's so desperate for attention, and now everybody talks about how much he cries, so there's some percentage chance that he's thinking, well, I bring the onions to the set and I cry and I'm gonna get more press. And he's obsessed with getting more press. He's the guy who on several occasions was like, that's it, I'm off Twitter. I'm never coming back on Twitter. They'll have to kill me if I'm back on Twitter. I couldn't do it without the attention. I want the attention so bad. But I think that more likely he's being genuine because I think he needs therapy. I'm not a therapist, but he should seek one out. Like, I think that he's been criticized so much that any kind of light critique makes him very, very emotional. But Jordan, as if I know him, I'll just address him. The thing to fix is not you getting criticized for attacking women. The thing to fix is attacking women. Don't do that. And then people won't have to point out that you do that. And then you don't have to cry as much in front of everybody.
It's his Karen moment. Look, I mean, cue Dr. Richie coming in here because like we know how it always ends. It is just Karen tears after you were the one to call the cops on somebody else for barbecuing and doing nothing wrong. That's all it is. You trolled somebody and then you're the victim. Oh my God. Anyway.
No, I have to stop there to give you enormous credit. I mean, I hadn't heard it before. Describing Jordan Peterson's crying as Karen tears is perfect. That's exactly right. And which then makes me realize, look, that he's in a sense, he's very physically symbolic of the right-wing mentality. You punch someone in the face, and the minute they say, hey, can you not do that? They go, oh, I can't believe you criticized me.
Or they get in trouble.
Why are you
they get in trouble. If the cops come, then they're the victim. If someone calls them on it, it's like, oh, they did it first. No, I'm gonna get kicked off of Twitter, no.
But Francesca, they do it about everything. And now, of course, the number one Karen of all time is Donald Trump. Like, oh, here, I'm gonna steal national secrets. And then, oh, the FBI is targeting me. Just because I stole national secrets and was thinking about selling them to a foreign enemy. And then all of MAGA comes in there, they start crying. I collect it in my Too Strong coffee mug. And I mix it in there. Oh, by the way, it's National Coffee Day, so everybody, toostrongcoffee.com/TYT, where we collect MAGA tears and then drink them. It's delicious. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.